Escape. Lake of Sin Series Book 1. Written by L.S. O'Day. This is a work of fiction. Similarities to real people, places, or events are entirely coincidental. Story copyright 2014 L.S. O'Day. If you're new to the Lake of Sin series, there's an overview of the world before the closing credits. Chapter 1. Trinity brushed the dirt off her hands and stretched, exposing her claws and giving the small of her back a good scratch. She was the last to finish preparing her fields for winter. Everyone else was gone, hiding in their huts. Producers did not like the night, but being half house servant, she didn't mind it. When she was alone or in the dark, she didn't have to hide her claws or fangs. Still, she retracted her nails as she bent to pick up the spade and hand trowel. It was habit now. She'd learned as a child that either she concealed her differences, or her parents would. She ran her tongue over her large sharp canines, so different from the producer's flat teeth. Mom and Dad had filed her fangs down only a couple of times before she'd learned to smile with her lips closed. She tucked the tools under her arms and took a moment to memorize this view of her home. The producer village sat in a valley. On the north and where she stood in the west were the fields, fallow now and waiting for winter. Dirt trails ran down the hill and into the camp, most leading to the pine cabins huddled together in the center of town with fires burning in pyres outside each hut. A few paths broke free and escaped to the edge of town where smaller, older cottages like hers sat. Other trails led to Shadow Lake, fed from the Elevital River, which flowed from the thick, lush forest on the south and east side of the valley. She sighed and headed down a trail toward home. She'd miss the freedom of the forest once she was gone. Although it wasn't as much fun sneaking into the woods alone as it had been with Travis. The two of them used to talk about what the earth might have been like before the Great Death brought extinction to all animals larger than 20 pounds and death to most humans. She'd learned about the event in some of the books that her dad had borrowed from his master's house. Producers weren't supposed to read, but Dad had taught her and her mom. According to one book, the Almighties were the last descendants of the human race. She'd searched every book she had, but there was no mention of the ancestry of the other classes. She stopped at the storage shed and put her tools away. She wouldn't need them again, ever. Within a couple of weeks, she'd be taken just like Travis had been last year. She turned onto the path that led through town. There was no doubt in her mind that her name would be on the harvest list. The Almighties only chose the finest examples of producers to stay and breed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?